Good morning, y'all, out there in the world. I hope you're having a really great day, and I hope you have a really great day. I'm going to do this side. I take one of my large, this is a hot press paper pad, one of my favorite papers of all to paint with. And I seem to not have very good lighting going on here at the moment. I'm not sure. I don't know, this phone camera seems to do its own thing. So hopefully that's fairly good lighting for you there and within the camera. But I'm not going to talk today on this one. I've got kind of a raspy voice today, which is what allergies do to me. So today I'm just going to paint this short little vase of herbs, I guess. And we're just going to I'm just going to go through the whole thing fairly quiet. Yeah, hot press paper is different, but I love it. It's one of my absolute favorites. So I'm just going to get my greens. I'm going to get going, and you can watch. I did want to say these are my new paints that were given to me that I'm using again. I've been doing some to try to get used to them. And I'm finding all these lovely things about them. There's 100 colors, so, you know, I definitely have a lot of colors that I can use. And I find that the less water, I'm mixing quite a few greens right now on purpose. The less water I use, the better, although I do have my paper. I'm wetting my paper, so for the beginning of it anyways. We'll see where it goes after that. These remind me, as I mentioned in a different video, a little bit like the gouache I've used before. And I did use a lot of jelly gouache at one time because I like that. So I'm going into a lot of different greens here to see which green I'm actually going to end up using for this. Although it's going to be all, it is going to be all mixed in together, which is fine. I'm doing that. I'm really doing that on purpose. Let's get a nice defined side here. Well, I guess I am going to talk a little bit. My voice is okay right now. It starts screwing up, well, and it starts getting bad, I'll just stop. I'm going to just sort of swirl around some colors, this side, taking it from, leaving the darker on this edge, you know, to get that nice defined edge of that, of the vase, the vase, whichever you want to call it. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to come on this side as well, but this is my light side, as you can probably kind of tell by the way that I do want to get the, oh, I keep grabbing the wrong color. Okay, there we go. I do want to get this side in here. So I'm going to go right down, and then we're going to pull out from there. And I'm swirling because I want some effects to this. I don't want it to be flat. I want it to have some different effects. So I'm going to come, I don't want to turn my work because it's so hard to keep it all in this camera, but we'll just go down on the side using the tip of my brush. And apparently it already, that particular color kind of settled in there. All right, it's all right, because we're dabbling in a lot of colors, and I am purposely swirling my brush to get some different effects, right? Kind of gives it some different effects. I guess this is the one that so down at the bottom here, we want it a little darker. I'm taking water now, and I'm kind of swirling it all around. I sort of wanted to make sure I kept some highlighted over here. So I'm wiping my brush off. These colors, this is one thing I'm going to say while I have you here. They don't come out. I'm noticing that. That's one thing that I'm picking up on, is that I cannot pull them out as well as I do once I put them down as my regular watercolor. So, you know, it's kind of something to keep in mind. But I do like the colors. They're very pretty. And what I'm using at the moment, as I don't have my other watercolor paints out right now, I'm grabbing some regular whites. The white in this in these watercolors. Here goes my voice. Excuse me. And I'm just going to add that for the highlight on one side here, which works fine. And then we will darken up some of these. Whoops, that's not the color I want in there. So we'll just kind of swing it around here. But it's okay, because it is actually working with all the other colors. Get some of that yellowy kind of color there. And just kind of dabbing, because I want a bit of effect like that. And then I'm going to go into a blue to mix. Oh, that's actually, yeah. And I'm going to, yeah, it's a blue, and I'm mixing it with a green, though, for a darker side, you know, on this darker side, wiggling and stroking the brush. That's pretty. I actually like that. And I think that is how I'm going to leave the vase and the vase. And then what we've just got here is we've just got some, I'm going to get a little brown in with the green. Pull up some, yeah, I'm a bit on the stuffy side today. That's what happens, depending on the weather. So much fun, right? Well, it could be a whole lot worse. That's how I look at things. Now, a little tip here. There, I just had some water. Maybe that'll help a little, right? All right, so I'm getting some brown and some green together. And I'm sort of putting, and what I was going to say for the little tip is, as I'm doing my, you see how I did it in the wet? This is wet down here. Because you'll always notice that when you've got, when you have your, what do you call them? The stems of your plants, or whatever they are. In the water, they look kind of blurry. And that's, of course, because they're in the water. So, you want to depict that by putting it in the wet. And the wet will cause it all to look blurry for you. So really, this is just a bunch of green leaves, which I think I'm making some basil leaves. Well, that's not the color I'm looking for. I need a dark. Well, you know what we're going to do? I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to figure these colors out. Some of them are a little surprising. Okay. Well, there we go. That's more of what I was looking for. Okay, so we're just gonna, they're actually a bit jagged on the ends, so we're just gonna take the tip of the brush and as lightly as you can, just pull out some of the color, and it will make it look a little jagged with just with the tips of the brush. There's several ways to do it. Do it however you want to. That's how I'm doing it. Now, I'm going to pull a little bit out, put it over there. Oh, I love working on hot press paper. I really just do. Now, another way would just be to kind of wiggle your brush as you're, and do that action with your brush as you're painting it. That's another way to get those little jagged edges. So it's just a bunch of leaves. So it's really, I'm going to just kind of, for a little bit of time here, I'm just going to, my hand wants to do a different kind of leaf. And that's not the kind of leaf that that this herb is. And so I'm trying hard not to let my hands, but it keeps happening. So I'm just going to paint here for a bit and paint the leaves. You can speed it up when you're looking at it if you like. Or you can just watch, because watching is part of learning. Here I'm layering right here. And you don't even have to put, that in if you don't want. That's the other thing too as well. What I'm going to do is, oh good, I had some yellow on there. Good, I was actually going to get some yellow. And add it in with the green. A kind friend bought these for me. They like my watercolor journey, so every once in a while they bless me with, something like this. I think it's really nice. I'm not sure if I told you in this particular one what the kind of the type of paints they are, but they're called Teo Tree. That's the brand name. Actually, I've never heard it before, but it seemed like a really good deal. And this is also for, I'll be using these for, traveling, going places, and also when I go to the parks and so forth. So these will be very, very helpful for that. It's 100 different watercolor colors in the in this. If I didn't show you in this one, I'll show you these. And it comes in a tin that latches, as you can see. So perfect for traveling. And yeah, they really work well. A little different, but all watercolors it seems that you get are always a little different. And these are a little different, but I like them very much. They work nicely. They have a nice color. I am on watercolor paper, but it's hot press. So I'm treating myself today because I love hot press paper. So I thought I'd switch over to some hot press today as I was doing my tutorials. Trying to get some yellows in there. It's actually, oh, that's like a, ooh, I didn't even know that was in there. Okay, that's nice. Ooh, I like that a lot. It's almost like a neon. Pretty. Okay. Well, see, I'm just, I'm getting used to these. So, and I'm going to add a little bit of the red into my stems. The best thing to do when you're having a day that your mouth's not working with your brain is laugh. Really, just laugh at yourself, because if you don't, it can get too frustrating and, you just get PO'd. So don't bother. Don't let life do that to you. So I want to make the ones in the water here, the depiction of the water, a little darker in some areas. And we want to give the indication, whoops, I went right out. Oh, my hand just sort of took off. Okay. We're just trying to make some lines for the water here. Sometimes you can ruin something if you go back in, but it worked. And when I put I was going to say earlier, when I put my stems here in, I don't want to go right over the top of that, because that is not going to look right? You want your stems to appear that they are going down into the vase. If you go right over the top here, it's just not even going to look real, so, or natural or anything. So make sure, that was just a little tip for some reason that I wanted to say out loud. Make this a little darker. Water paint dries light, but that vase is pretty. I really do. Then I took some blue here and added it at the bottom. It would be a little darker at the bottom. Soften it up a little. That's pretty. So these are basil leaves. We've got one that I'm missing on the stem that's just sitting there. So not that I have to, but I'm going to put it in. I keep wanting to make this other leaf. That's so funny. You'll have to give yourself lots of patience when you have lots of patience when you're learning this watercolor skill, because it's not the simplest thing in the world to learn by far. But with plenty of patience, giving yourself the time that you need to learn something like anything else, you'll put those in. You'll be fine, and you'll love it once you have given yourself that time that you need. You'll end up loving this, because it's a beautiful medium to work with. Absolutely beautiful. Has its own magic of beauty. I painted with acrylics for over 40 years, and I always wanted to paint with watercolor, but I always thought it was something that I couldn't do. Don't ask me why. I just, for some reason, I foolishly talked myself into thinking that I couldn't do it. And, I'd get kind of frustrated with myself, and, and then I'd think about it again, and then I'd be, no, I can't, that's nothing I can, it's too complicated, I'd keep telling myself. Oh, so stupid to tell yourself those types of things, So a lot of years went by, and I didn't learn it. And then one day I just said to myself, and I have a video on this actually as well, and I just said to myself, that's it. I'm not listening to this voice any longer, and we're going to learn, speaking to myself, we are going to learn watercolor. And that is exactly what I did. So if I can learn it, believe me, you can learn it. It's practice, knowledge, learning the art, like any other thing that you want to do, is learning it. Everything comes from learning. You teach yourself something, you got to learn it. So I did, and it didn't take me as near as long as I thought it would. or did I find it as hard as I thought it would be? That will be different for everyone, but you won't know until you try, right? So I think, folks, for this particular cute little painting here, I am going to leave it at that. And whoops, I lost my little, I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to make my little water, this little place for the water line. So it indicates that the water is there, right about there. And the rest of it, of course, is a fan brush is great for taking out color as well. But I am noticing, as I mentioned once before, this paint doesn't come out of the paper as well as regular water paint. So that's just something, you know, something to think about with these paints. But as you can see, they're very pretty. They're nice paints. They go on nicely. Of course, everything goes on nicely on watercolor. I mean on, what do you call it? Hot press paper. Everything goes on hot press paper nicely. It's the nicest paper I've ever painted with. And I wanted to get, my colors are kind of fading. And they will fade. And they do look faded in the glass. But you want to also see them. So I'm going to put a little bit more of the colors down here. Grabbing some reds and different colors just to get it, because it's going to fade again. So that is the end of it right there. So I hope you enjoyed that little vase of basil leaves, or whatever kind of leaves they are. I can't remember exactly what basil leaves looks like, but I do know, I'm pretty positive from years of growing it, past years of growing it, that it had a spiky kind of, you know, sides to them. So close enough, right? So try it out for yourself. Zoom in, you know, slow it down, all those things that help you to learn. You know, you can use whatever colors you want. I mean, I could have, you know, used all kinds of different colors here. You can choose all kinds of different colors. I sort of lost my white area. Like I said, I forgot to leave the white area, so you can go back in with your white. I usually, in my other set, I have acrylic whites and gouache white and what's that other white? Chinese white. And I do that. If I forget sometimes, I'll just go back in and I'll grab the white and I'll just come in, and it's no harm, no foul. That world is not going to collapse. It doesn't make you a bad painter. None of any of those things that you may have heard. There's so many ways and things now that, you know, we have that, no, you don't fall into, don't bother to, you know, don't go there. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't even go there. Just, you know, find something that works for you and use it. So there you go, folks. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.